It's Liza's painting parties and it's Thursday night, and so we are here to paint live all together. Our painting that we're doing is this one called Sunrise or Sunset Mountain. I cannot remember, but that's the one we're doing. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah. I can't find it now. That's fine. We're going to be painting our version of this painting. This is an original painting experience. So I made this a few weeks ago. We were supposed to be doing this one in June, but I had to cancel that session. So we're doing our redo today. So this is a really nice, lovely scene. I am going to change a little bit of it just because I have a couple ideas, and I'm not really digging like the rounded mountaintops right now. So I'm going to change it up a little bit, but I still want the same vibe. So it's still going to have like this really nice, pretty pink, yellow sunset sky. And I still want to have the purplish mountain happening and the water and like lots of you can't really see it so well, but there's like some different layers of land. But I want to change it up a little bit. So I will walk you through as I go through it of what we're doing. We'll start off in about 5-10 minutes or so. I'll go through all the supplies that I'll be using. And again, it's the supplies that I'm using isn't what you have to use. You can always grab any supplies that you prefer. So just because I'm using it isn't like my preferred list. It's just what I have available usually. So I'll walk you through what that looks like, and then we'll go from there. Anyone who hasn't joined before, welcome so much. Welcome, and I'm so glad that you're here. Anyone who's joined me before, thank you for coming back, and I'm glad that you're back. Feel free to let me know in the comments where you are watching from. I'm here in Ajax, Ontario, which is just outside to the east of Toronto, Ontario, in Canada, and it is a beautiful, beautiful day. It's like sunny, there's a little bit of a breeze, it's really nice. So we definitely are into our summer days, which is pretty great. So let me know how things are where you are. And if you're going to be painting along. If you're not able to paint along right now, but you did want to paint this at some other point, this recording will be up under the videos tab under my Facebook page, or it's also going to be cross-posted on my YouTube channel, so you'll be able to watch it on either one of those platforms afterwards. If you're hard of hearing, once the videos are live and you're watching the recording, the captions get processed, so you'll be able to watch it better at that point. So if that's a situation for you, that's the best way to go about doing that. And I think also if you're missing some of it, you can also rewind it as well if you're watching live and catch anything if you need to, or pause it, I think, as well while it's live. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think so. So these are free sessions. If you did want to leave me a tip, there's a link at the bottom for the Buy Me a Coffee or in the PayPal. They're obviously welcome, but not required, so you can do so if you wish. Also, if you'd like me to host your own virtual paint party, or if you're in the greater Toronto area and would like me to host an in-person session, there's also a link to my website, so you can take a look and see what the packages look like, or send me a message, whether direct message through my site or through my Facebook Messenger is totally fine. We can chat about that if that's something that you're looking at doing. All right, so without further ado, let's talk about the supplies. So for the original painting, I did use a stretched canvas, 12 by 16. For tonight's recreation, alternate recreation, another scene probably of the same world, essentially. I'm using a canvas board, which is an 11 by 14. And I'll be using acrylic paint, as I always do. I do use two different types of acrylic paint. One of the main ones is Crafters Acrylic by Deco Art. So I got these from the Dollarama. They dry with a matte finish. And I honestly got them because they were cheap and I had much available at home when I started doing these paint parties. And so very cost-effective solution. They work quite nicely. And then I also use these ones from Artist's Loft called like Flow Acrylic. And these ones I got from a store called Michael's. It's like an arts and crafts store here. And this one's just called Yellow. This dries with more of a shine to it. So I like these a lot because I use less of this paint and it actually spreads a lot more. And it wasn't very expensive either, so that was nice. In terms of the colors that we'll need today, all of my painting parties, I try to make them very budget or cost friendly. So if you are only able to get a few paint colors, all you need is blue, red, and yellow and black and white, and we can make any painting that you see in my painting parties. And I talk you through what colors to mix and whatnot if that is what you need to do. This painting is predominantly a pink. There's yellow, and there's going to be some purples and some grays. So if you have some of those pre-mixed colors available or a shade that you like, you can also dip into that as well. We'll need some orange as well, but we'll be mixing that too. So that's in terms of the paint that we need. I also have like a palette to just mix all the paints on. I have water containers, since acrylic is water-based. Paper towel. When I'm painting, I often use paper towel to clean off my brushes instead of using them in the water. So I'll again talk through that when I do that. And I recommend having at least 3 different paint brush sizes. So if you have like a large, a medium, and a fine, that's great. For this one in particular, I'm using a number 10. This is a number 2, and this one is a number 4, but it becomes quite a nice fine point. So these are the brushes that I use predominantly. But again, if you have a variety of brushes, that's totally fine. And I recommend using ones you feel comfortable using. I like ones that are like flat for most of my painting, and that's the ones that you should go with. All right. Hello. Hi, Melinda. Hi, Lynn. I'm glad that you're joining. Perfect. All right. So I think it's just after 6 right now. So I'm going to also have some water with you too, or have something to drink, because this will not take that long. My paint parties are usually around 2 hours. I don't think this is going to take 2 hours to do, but we'll see if we get a little bit crazy with some of the additional things I want to change up about it. We'll see if that happens. Great. And for all my paint parties, what I say is we have our inspiration image, but it's like a book club. That's the book that we're reading, but you can interpret it any which way you desire. So if you want to change it all up completely, if you want to paint something totally different, you just want to paint along, feel free to do so. What I ask is that whatever you create, I love to see it. So please take a picture of it and share it after the paint party, because the community does like to check it out, and everyone has their own style and way to do things. So it's always fun to see that as well. So that is about that. So I think we should get started. So I'm going to move just get the camera over a little bit so you can see. Do more like this, even though I know you can't see the full painting, but that's all right. It's not much going on the other side. Perfect. Okay. Awesome. So what we're going to start with is we're going to get some paint going on our palette, and we're going to start off with the sky. With this one, the sky takes more than half of your canvas. So if you just have, like in your primary colors, you want to get your yellow, you want to get red, and you want to get white on your palette. So let's start with those. And once I put them on, I'll show you kind of like how much of each I'm using. And that might change for you depending on a few factors. Sometimes depending on the paint that you use, it can have better overall coverage than others. So that can be one reason. So I have, that's about as much of each one that I'm doing here. Great. Hi, Kenneth. Awesome. Okay, so what we're going to start with here is, so the top, again, is going to be the pink that's going to go into this yellow and has some nice orange. We're not going to worry about any of the cloudy streaks yet. We're just going to get the background popped in, okay? So the way I'm going to start this, if you're using it like I am, where you just have your yellow, your red, and your white, I'm going to start with my white, and I'm going to start to pop my white paint on my canvas. Now the reason why I want my white paint on here is because I want to get a pink, right? And so what I want to do is I want to create a nice decent layer of white. I'm going to move pretty quickly because I want to blend my colors once I start adding more colors on here nicely. So I need to work a little bit fast. Now that I have this chunk with white paint, I'm going to go in and I'm going to grab some red on my brush, and I'm just going to start to streak. Okay. Now, there's still quite a bit of red paint, and I'm just going to use the paper towel to wipe that off. And now I'm going to just go back and forth to blend that into the white paint that already lives on here. And then I'm going to get some more white paint and pop it on top to continue this blend. And that's kind of how I do my on canvas color blending sky, because already we start to see there's already some nice streaks happening. You want to get the top and you want to get the sides as well, especially if you're working with like a full canvas like the one that I did initially for our inspiration image. Okay, I'm going to continue putting some more white and just bring this a little bit lower. Okay, and now I'm going to get a little bit more red because I do want to darken it up at the top. So I'm going to add red just at the top here, which will end up becoming pink. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And everything's still wet, so it makes it very easy to blend. Okay, a little bit more on this side. Pretty. Okay, so now I have a nice pink glow happening, which is nice. Just adding a little bit more white. Okay, cool. So now I want to get the yellow on. So I'm going to go right to my yellow, and I'm going to start to pop the yellow in just below where we just painted. Okay. And when I paint, I always go lower than wherever I think is actually necessary in my painting, because I want my mountains to cover it up real nice. I'm going to get some yellow in here too, because I want, no yellow, sorry, white in my yellow. So I just want to blend that out a little bit more. And now I'm going to blend it into this pink using the white as a helper friend. So I just get a little bit of white on my brush, and then I just bring it up into my pink sky and give it a nice gradient feel to it. It's okay if we get some other streaks happening like that. That's pretty. All right, very pretty. Okay, I think I want to do a little bit of orange. I'm going to pre-mix a little bit of my red and my yellow on my palette just to get a bit of an orange. A little bit. It's very red, but that's okay. Okay, and I'm just going to mix it in to my let's add a little bit more streakiness. That's still very red, I guess. If you have like a pre-mixed orange, you could always use that too. Or just mix it a little bit better than I did. I didn't really want that line there. Okay, let me just clear off my brush a bit. Just get rid of that. Yeah. And I do want to tone down my yellow a bit. I'm putting a little bit of white in here just to keep it nice and streakiness happening. Very pretty. Okay, cool. So at this point, we can start playing with all the cloudiness in the sky. And now I'm going to take my big brush, and I'm not going to use it for this section, so I'm going to pop that in the water for now. I'm going to get my middle size brush, my number 2 brush, start playing with this. So You can pick whatever color you want to go with. Maybe we'll get kind of like a dark pink happening. So I'm just going to get some white into my red and just get it a little bit darker than what we have going on in our sky right now. And these are just like streaks. So I'm just going to bring my brush across. I do want it to get a little darker, but I just got to grab the red entirely. Since it's still wet, you can grab a bit more of the color because it'll end up blending a lot easier. And then I'm just bringing my brush along and just getting these kind of shapes happening. So let's grab some more of the red. Okay. Cool. Okay. Just gonna get more. Let's get into this area here. I'm just bringing it along and just lightly dabbing and just kind of going a little bit streaky. And because everything's still wet, it kind of just blends into it. So I want to dab it a little bit sometimes to get a bit more of a formation happening. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's put one here maybe. You can put them wherever you want them in your sky. I'm just putting a little bit of white in here because I just wanted to dull it a little bit at the bottom. Cool. Okay, so yeah, I want to do another one, I think. Just kind of do them until you don't want to do them anymore. Let's do a little baby one. Here, maybe I'll do like another little strokey thing here. Cool. All right. Let's get some yellow in here. So I want to get it to get a little bit orangier. Get a bit of yellow in this mix on my brush. Still gonna be pinky, but it'll have a bit more of a tinge to it. And we're gonna put a few more here. Okay. Cool. Lots of pretty little clouds happening here. I'm gonna get some more white in here. Let me look over on this side and put a little smatterings of lines to get our cloud vibes happening here too. And clouds are so interesting. They can be in so many random shapes. Sometimes they're really wispy. I've been paying more attention to clouds since I've been painting more often, and it's just so interesting to see how they never really like fit the exact description I think I have in my head about them. They always look a little bit funkier. Just putting some of that yellowish up there, but I do want to kind of go with some white too. So I'm going to just clean my brush and get some white. Put a few in. And I'm changing it up a little bit from our inspiration image. I'm kind of digging it. Just going to add another pink cloud, a darker one in these areas a bit. Okay, that's pretty. This one's definitely a little bit softer, more softer than this one, but I think I'm still digging that. I'm just going to make a bit of yellow, make this, maybe soften some of these up a little bit. I think I want a little bit of yellow up here too, because I didn't put any of the yellow in here. kind of just going pretty free with my brush and deciding where I want it to go. But there we go. So I think for now I'm good with that. And now I want to put in where I want my mountain to live. So the mountain that we have in here, like I said, it has these like three like little knobby things, and I don't know if I want to go that route, and I do want to change a few things up about it. So what I'm thinking about doing is I still want to keep it in that purple tone. So again, if you have your primary colors, so you want to get blue and red, and you can make a purple out of that. Or if you have a pre-mixed purple, you can definitely use that. I'm going to grab my blue and add blue, and I'm going to be making my purple color with the red in my blue. I don't know if I need, I think I am going to need more red than what I have on there, so I'm going to put a little bit more red. I think that should be enough. We'll try that and see. And then I'm going to add like a drop of black to my palette. So I feel like I'm going to need that. So that's about as much of each I've put on there. Okay. I'm going to go back. I don't know if I want to use, yeah, I think I'll use my large brush just to start get good coverage. So it was in my water, so I'm just going to clear off the extra of the paint that was on there. Shouldn't matter too much because it will go away when I do my purple. So I'm just going to mix some of my red, some of my blue on my palette, but it kind of stays like unmixed, and I'll do it more on my canvas anyways. So I'm going to start with putting in the line of where I want the base of my mountain to be. Okay, and then we can just start to build it however your heart desires. So I'm just going to bring it up, bring it down. Fill it in right now. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I just want to get the color on here and a base shape of how I want it to be. Okay, now I'm just going to switch to my medium brush so I can, whoops, so I can get a little more detail happening here. Okay, so top here. I'm just going to give it a bit of definition. And I want it to be a little bit rocky. I don't want it to be like the perfect peak either, but I don't think I want it to be like that three weird peak thing that I had going on over there. And then I want to make this a little messy. Like I want this to be like, maybe there's like more mountains, maybe there's like shrubbery, I don't know. But it's just not going to just like be flat. I want to have a little bit of stuff happening. And same on this side too. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of like a rockier vibe. Okay. So everything's still quite wet, so I think I want to let this dry a little bit more. I just want to get some of the sky from behind, like the yellow is coming through a bit because it's, even that was still a little wet when I put this on. So I'm just playing with it a little bit, and I'm just starting to get a bit of the shape I want in the mountain, like the brush stroke to kind of come down the mountain instead of it being kind of that willy-nilly kind of brush strokes I did initially just to like get the paint on, but I want it to be a bit more mindful in how it flows. I think I'm good like that for now. Okay, so while that dries, I'm going to put the water in at the base here. And this water is kind of like a weird, murky, not super realistic vibe. So we're going to do that down here. So it is a lot of blue and white. So it's going to start off a little bit bright, and then I shouldn't be using this brush. whatever. I'll start with this and then I'll get my other brush in a moment just to clean it off for now. Okay, there we go. That worked. So let's just clear off this brush. Okay, perfect. I'm going to start with blue and then we'll lighten it up and change it up as we so desire. This particular blue is quite bright. Just getting some white in here. I'm going to bring it right up to the line and then I'll add more to the land afterwards. I just want to cover the canvas entirely. Okay, much brighter. I do want to tone that down a smidge. I'm going to get some black and just put a little bit of black in here. And then just start to move around, just so I don't want it to be like full black. I do want to get it a little bit murkier. There we go, that's happening nicely now. Let's get some white in here. See the same kind of vibes. Just gonna pop some lines of white here and then float around the canvas as I spread it around and mix it in. It's getting a little murkier, which is nice. All right, I'm gonna get some red. Do the same thing. Cool. So now we have a bit more happening. Still more gray on the initial one. This is definitely brighter, but I'm feeling a little brighter today, so it might end up just staying that way. I'm going to get a little bit more gray just to darken it a smidge more. Let's put a little bit more red just to make it a little bit more purplier there, a little more black on this side. Yeah, it's basically you can kind of just play with it until you get it to a nice base of what you like. Always forgetting to do the sides. Try not to. There you go. All right, pretty. Pretty. Okay, so I want to change it up a little bit. I think I'm going to bring some land a little bit more forward than what was in my original. So I'm going to change that up a little bit. So I do still, let me think. I want to do the tree line kind of first. No, I think I'm going to play a little bit with bringing some land in front. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So I want to do a bit more of this purple happening. I want to darken it up a little bit with some black. And I'm going to add land. It's going to come this way and come back out. So like I said, I'm changing it up. from the original. I wanted to add a little bit more to it, just for fun. Okay. Let's see, we're gonna put another one. Maybe this one will be a little further back. Okay. And maybe we have, I don't know if we're gonna have another one. Do we? Yeah, I think we are. Why not? Why not? Get another one like here, and it's gonna come out a little bit more. I'm just using black predominantly because again the paint is still a little wet, so it's still picking up the paint behind it, so it doesn't end up being like a pure black. Okay, yeah, I think I'm liking that more. I'm enjoying that a little bit better with some layers happening. I don't know if I'll do more than that. I think yeah, I think I'm good with that. Okay, now I want to add a little bit of definition to my mountain and put in some kind of like stuff that's happening on the land, because right now my water to my mountain looks kind of weird, so I don't like that so much. I'm gonna get my fine brush, and we're going to, I'm not sure which color I'm going to use. I'm going to try to use a bit of a darker purple, but I'm going to add a little bit of black to that. Okay. And then what I want to do is I'm just going to add like little strokies, like as if it's like little like trees or something that's like in the background. They're far away. This mountain's very far. I'm just going to add a little bit, and I'll fix it up in a little bit. I'm just going to add like little staggery. Okay, I'm just going to get my medium brush again. This will give me a little bit more control, coverage as well. And then I'm just going to go and clean up the line in the front. Okay. Okay, so I'm going now with like a little bit of blue into the black, and I'm just creating a little bit of a shadow in the water in front of that line. And I want it to be a little messy. Okay. I also want it to be a little darker in the water where that is. And I want to be a little darker in the water where this guy is. Oof, that didn't go exactly the way I wanted it to. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit, correct my issues. Okay. Nice. Oh, thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Bianca. So yeah, so changing up a little bit. I think I'm digging this vibe a bit more. Very fun. Now, we also have kind of like little floaty, let's put a little floaty islandy thing here. So let's just go a little line in black. And then we're just going to add like little lines, make it feel like little trees and stuff on there. And I'm just going to put like little black lines in the water around it, just to give it the sense of that it's landed in that spot there. So that looks really cute. Really, really cute. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit of white just to emphasize it like ever so much. Putting a few little lines, white lines in here. Okay. Okay, white's really great for that. So I'm going to do a little bit on this side. Let's see over here too. I feel like that might be a little bit too much on that side. I might tone that down. Just gonna get rid of that line, I think. That one was a little much. Okay. I'm gonna put in a few little like blue lines too, I think. Okay. Alright. I think I almost feel like I'm good with this. I'm almost, wow, this was not long at all. I was like, it's not gonna take 2 hours. It's like been 40 minutes. Hilarious. Well, quick and easy painting, not too bad. I'm trying to think if I want to do, I don't know if I want to do any more than this, to be honest. I'm pretty happy with it. It's kind of giving me what I wanted. I might put a little bit in the mountain. Just give it a little bit more definition because it's not really, I don't know. I don't know if that's the right color though. I kind of want some white, but I don't want it to be a lot. So I'm just going to kind of stroke it down. That's very bright. That's a little bit brighter than I wanted it to be. I'll go with it for now and then maybe we'll just tone it. Perhaps. Put a little bit over here too. A little bit here too. Not sure. Not too sure. I'm just gonna put a kind of purplish color now on my brush. So I'm just gonna tone it down slightly. Oh, it's very blue. That's not what I wanted. Oh, yeah. I like that. That's not bad. Tone it down a little bit on the top too. Yeah. Alright, I think I'm happy with this. And that's going to be it for today. Isn't that the fastest I've ever done it? I'm pretty sure. And changing it up too. It's kind of funny. There we go. Fastest 40-minute painting ever done. Like a Bob Ross at this point. No. I wish. Anyways, so I hope you all enjoy painting along. So there's my completed painting. I think I like it much better than my original one too. I do like the sky a lot more. I think there's a lot more texture to it. I like the brightness of the water, and I definitely like adding in those additional like land masses to kind of give it a bit more like interest and texture. So I really, really, really enjoy it. So I hope you had a fun time painting along with me. And if you did, please take a picture and share it as well because I'd love to see it. I'll snap a picture of mine and I'll share it in a post as well. Next week we'll be painting again. So every Thursday we do a free painting session right here. So if you enjoy and you want to paint along with me again, please do so. I haven't put up I haven't actually chosen yet what we're doing next week, but I will have that ready for you hopefully by Saturday, and have the images for the rest of the month available there. So I hope you had a great evening, and thank you so much for joining me. Have a great rest of your week. Bye everyone. Bye Paint Partiers. See you later.